Howdy, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Follow the Leader. I'm your host, Lee Larson, and from Billings, Montana. I know the setting looks a little different. We're not in the studio. We are at the Wild Root Storage Room with business owner Josie Makin. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Man, it's so fantastic. Folks, I came down this morning. She's speaking tomorrow at the Junior League Billings Conference. I guess by the time you see this, she's speaking at the Junior League's conference for women leadership here in Billings, Montana, hosted by Junior League Billings. Tell me, what's your story? How are you connected with Billings? How long have you lived here?
Well, I actually am from Townsend, Montana, so more southwestern part of the state. Small little town. I came here I played college basketball. So I landed here in 2005 and just never left. Honestly, I don't really know what brought me here. I've always wondered that myself because I had full ride offers to the Grizz and Bobcats, and I did turn them down. And I've always wondered why. Why did I do that? Because I love Missoula. Mm-hmm. It's just so beautiful there. But something about Billings, but I suppose that's why they call it the Magic City. I feel like it brings in this kind of stuff that I just never thought in a million years I'd be where I'm at. Mm-hmm. So anyways, I met my husband because actually I was going to join the Peace Corps before nursing school and just go travel. Yeah. And then I met him. So I was like, well, okay, I guess I'll go to school. Yeah. And so, yeah, I just stuck around. And obviously we have our family and we found our little slice of heaven. We live out of town on 20 acres and I have horses and chickens and no cows, but dog and a cat. So yeah, it's peace.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And I really like Billings downtown, especially. I've come here a few times and the food.
Oh my gosh.
It's really good.
I know there's some really good new spots and Billings. I mean, it's kind of, I think it used to not be really that way. It used to be, very exciting. There was a lot more shops, but a lot of places have kind of moved out to Shiloh, but I do like downtown too. Yeah. Like we actually have taken family pictures downtown because it's just so like historic, especially down by the depot.
Yeah.
So cool. But then the food. Yeah.
Well, tell me, so you went to nursing school instead of the Peace Corps, you stayed here, you married your husband, and how does your talk to me about what that career looked like?
Oh gosh. Well, to be fair, I actually got my CNA license in high school, so I've been in healthcare since I was 15.
Good for you.
I always knew what I wanted to do. If you asked my dad, he would have said he called me Dr. Josie because I would just run around and, just take care of everything. And I mean, he'd come home for lunch and he'd say, oh, I got a headache. And I'd go get him some, Tylenol, make him some chicken noodle soup. And then I would charge him like $20. And he was like, what? So I feel like it's always just been something I wanted. When I came to Rocky, again, this is one of those decisions that I feel like Billings just has this crazy little, pull for people. I would have actually never picked Billings to come here. But I went to Rocky on full ride scholarship. They didn't have nursing programs. So I was like, well, I'll do PA, but you had to get it undergrad. So I actually did English, literature, and biology with an emphasis in genetics.
Right on.
Because I thought, oh, maybe the PA school or something. And we got to that point and the PA school was going through accreditation issues. So I'm like, well, I'll just go to nursing school. So I kind of took the long route. If you ask my husband, I am a forever student. I love learning. Even now I'm in classes all the time. I'm always taking things. So my career has, it's funny when you're in school, you're like, oh, like I loved ER. That was my home. Emergency medicine has always been my fascination, probably because you get a lot of everything and you just learn so much. And I grew up in the ER when I was going to school. So like, all my experience was there. It's funny how you think you're going to do that and then you get out and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to work in the ER. Yeah. So, I found my home in ICU and hearts and I do have a crazy story. My husband and I, and it's funny that I chose to be a cardiac nurse because when I was 26, I actually had cardiac arrest. working out. And he, at the time we'd been dating a year, and he did CPR on me and did save my life. And so we have this unique, like, connection. And it was crazy because I was 26 years old.
Wow.
And nothing was actually wrong with my heart. I mean, they did put a defibrillator in there, but it did change my outlook on everything. And so when I got out of nursing school, it was just like, well, I should go into cardiac care. And so in a weird way,
Yeah.
and it's just been a really, I'm very open-minded. So I just kind of, wherever it takes me, I'll go. And then when it doesn't feel good, I move on.
Yeah.
And COVID hit, and I had just had my baby. So I was just getting off maternity leave and had to go back to that mess. And I was still in ICU and the cardiac floor in the hospital. And I just kind of, I think like other people, I just snapped. I just had enough. It was so stressful. And it used to be a badge of honor in the ER to handle the stress. Yeah. Like it used to, because you had to. Right. You relied on emergencies for you to fix things. But I've just learned that it just wasn't, I started to just affect my health. Right. And now I had a baby at home and a pandemic to worry about. So it was just like too much. So I had found a job that I could just do normal hours, get my sleep back. Yeah. All the things that I just knew as a nurse were good for me because I was still doing nights and days, and it just messes 12 hours away from your kid. It just sucks. And so I reached out for some help because I'm sure I had some postpartum depression going on underlying. And I met this amazing woman who just stuck me on my healing path. And out of that, I birthed the idea for this business to bring, we're a mobile IV. I didn't come up with that concept of mobile ID, but I did that. We're a holistic, and we're going back to the roots. Like, how do we help people make sustainable changes in their life? To get back on track, feel connected to yourself. Cause I was so disconnected, and eventually it runs out and your body catches up, and all of a sudden you're sick and you're dysregulated and you're not sleeping. And I was drinking wine every time I got off a shift because I was just trying to cope. So there was a lot of factors that kind of forced me to think, but honestly, I grew up naturopathic. My mom was a naturopathic provider. This was not new information to me. I knew about all this stuff, and I thought, wow, maybe that's what I was here for, to take that holistic concept. And it worked. And I approached my business partner, Eric. He went to nursing school with me. There was about 5 of us. We formed a really close bond. And I've worked with Eric's wife in the hospital, so we all know each other. And I was like, hey, you want to do this?
Yeah.
And he was like, yep. And, we had no business experience. Not like either of us went to school for business to learn what SOPs were. We were literally like, what is an SOP? And it's just been, that's where we're at. And it's just been amazing.
And how long ago was this?
2020, 4 years. So 2022, but we technically opened January of 23.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, it was open in December of 22, but it just,
Well, yeah, we're now, that's awesome.
Yeah. We made it what did they say? It was like 99% of new businesses fail in the first year. And so we were like, okay, we just got to make it to year 2. Yeah. So it's been good. Yeah. I'm just loving what I do. I recently just quit the hospital to do this full time. So yeah, I'm loving life.
Yeah. Well, I think it really shows in your passion, just like talking to you. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like you love what you do. You're fully in it. Even talking about how you just knew at 15.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 My whole family. I've always been just like, oh, do this, take this.
Yeah. So talk to us. What is mobile IV? So the company is called Wild Roots. It's a mobile IV. Talk to us. What does that mean? What do you do?
Yeah, so obviously we're in our storage closet right now, which is really funny. It's kind of a glorified. We have a big, pretty window, but we go to people's homes and we offer vitamin infusions and injections. We have a couple other modalities like the brain tap. and ozone therapy, which is very new to people in Montana. And they're on a holistic path. So we don't do anything that's, we're not into the aesthetics. We're not going to do the weight loss programs. We only, really address holistic root cause. So really getting back to the things we should have been taught from the get-go that make us healthy, so that we don't fall into these disease pathways that people seem to be sucked into. I've had 25 years of experience in the hospital. Like, I know the system, and it's not designed to make people healthy. That is not a secret. So anyways, we go to people's homes. I feel like they love it. And honestly, when I was thinking about things I could do, my husband, he's a firefighter paramedic for the city. And it was actually he who gave me the little light bulb. He was complaining about how they go and pick up, people who have hangovers from drinking too much the night before. People will call the ambulance for that. And it's just ridiculous. It's just a waste of taxpayers' money and all the things. And he just was like, gosh, I wish there was a service I could just go take care of all the hungover people. And I was like, well, wait, I mean, I can do that. And so then I started researching all these things, and no joke, I found 4 websites that I liked that were out in the United States of mobile IV. And this is so funny how the universe works. I mean, you can believe in God or universe, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's so funny how 3 of those were from the same guy. He owned all these companies. And I literally was just like, well, I don't know this person. I'm just going to call and leave a message and hope that, you know what, good old Montana Josie is just going to be like, hey, how's it going? Like, you want to tell me how you did this? And I didn't get a response for about 3 months. So I circled back around, and a little sweet lady from Texas with a sweet accent answered the phone. And because this company is in Arizona, and she goes, and I explained what I was trying to do. And she goes, oh, bless your heart. She goes, that's my son. He owns this business. I will make sure he calls you within the hour. I was like, oh, I got a mom. I was like, okay, I know how to finagle, So he called me back. Cool. And I was like, I know this is so strange, but I have reached out to the people around me in my area, and none of them want to share anything with me. And I'm just want to know how I want to do this business. This is my idea. And he goes, oh, absolutely. Would you like, and he gave me templates and structure, and he literally coached me for free, never charged me anything. I went to a conference to actually meet him, and he was a paramedic firefighter. So it was just funny how you can I don't know if anybody would really have the guts to just call random businesses. And I mean, I really just kind of was like, what am I going to lose? They're going to say no, or don't call me back. And it worked out. And he is still a resource for me. Every time we have a hiccup, I'm like, hey, Johnny, and I try not to abuse the privilege. I definitely made sure that I wasn't like, overdoing it. And so then this was born, and we just kind of went with it. So, and honestly, the best part about being mobile, honestly, is people don't have to leave their homes. And when they're really sick, that is the worst part. You go to an ER where there's other sick people and you're sick, like that makes no sense. And a lot of these things, they don't do anything for you. They give you fluids. So I can't tell you, we have so many people who give us reviews and are just like, oh my gosh, you saved me, flu, COVID, pneumonia, whatever they have, we've gone in and they just appreciate it because, we're professional. So you're in a safe space. Nursing is a very trusted profession. So we uphold that. And people just feel, you can tell, they just feel really comfortable that there's somebody who knows, what they're doing. And we've had nothing but good feedback. Like we haven't, knock on wood, I don't want to, jinx anything, but it's been and it makes me feel, I literally feel so good when I walk away from somebody, because I'm like, no, you're going to be feeling good tomorrow. I just know it. Like, and pretty soon, you text them and they're like, oh my God, I'm fine. Like I'm up doing this or that. And so That has been the best. And we might, look at doing a brick and mortar here in the future, and kind of looking at doing like a detox type center with some other modalities that we want to add in. But we just hired 5 nurses.
Yeah.
So we're trying to just get them up and going and kind of just go from there. And so far, they're all loving it too. It's just kind of been a way that we've all been able to reconnect with people, because that's really what healthcare should be about, is connection and making people feel heard and helping them. We don't always just need a pill for everything.
Right.
And there are other ways that naturally, heal things. So yeah, that was a long explanation of mobile fantastic. IV, but that's kind of where we ended.
And it's so simple too. It's hydration and it's care, and it's like you were saying, so many practices we don't even do. So I'm like embarrassed. I was telling my boyfriend like 2 days ago, I've had at least 2 different people in different settings suggest that I should drink more water and use more oils, like hair and face. And I was like,
okay, I hear you. What? Oh, I know. I listen to those all the time now. When I was on the floor, us nurses, we put a lot of things down, which is actually, why I am trying to do more speaking events, because it's like people need to hear this information. Like, we are getting so burnt out, but women are amazing. We were designed by design. I firmly believe that we are meant to multitask. We are meant to lead in things, but not from burnout. And that's what we live, without sounding crazy, in a patriarchal system. It's not a cycle that is for us, because we are on a different type of cycle. There are like 24-hour cycles. We're like 28-day cycles. That's why we have a period. And we've just been taught so many things to fit into a man's world. And I'm not trying to sound, I love my husband. Like,
It's all good. This is the right podcast. You're fine.
It really, it has been something that's been sitting with me for a while, that I just feel like women are starting to wake up and realize, like, we have so much power, but if we're leading from burnout and we're doing all these things and we're not putting boundaries up, none of the health things you're doing matter. Like, and I don't think, my mom didn't teach me that, but, I've had to learn this stuff on my own, but it is a common theme. I mean, even the clients that we see, women are just burnt out, and they're just starting to, like, kind of like, I don't give a shit. And that's okay. But it's like, okay, whoa, like, let's go about this differently. Like, we can all be high functioning and not have burnout. Right. Women are completely made differently biologically. So that's kind of what I try not to bore everybody to death with the biology. But, it's been fascinating stuff these days, what they can research now. And women are a new subject. We just started getting research done on us, for us, in like the 80s.
Right.
And even more so in the last like 10 years, they've really amped it up. But it's like, what?
Yeah.
We're behind.
Yeah. No, it's a fascinating to talk about. So there's an interview that I had with a woman who works in AI women's healthcare. Like,
interesting.
And on one hand, I have a lot of thoughts about AI and
what
that looks like. On the other hand, in very specific situations, like rural women's healthcare, and I'm still debating if I'm going to post the interview. Actually, followers, if you're like, wait, because I'm like, I don't know where I fall on it, but still fascinating, because there's just. She was talking about the research, because women's research has been so limited, and because very few people are taking on that task to go through the library or go through all of this. She was talking about how AI has pulled in women's health data and research like never before. And she was like, we're talking game changing, like trillions of dollars worth of industry information about how to care for anything from uterus to breast cancer, like all of it.
Yep.
It gets me emotional. I'm like,
I get goosebumps actually just talking. I mean, I get so lit up talking about this. Like, it's obviously what I was put on earth to do. Like, all the, even as a little girl, I just loved this stuff. Like, like we were designed to use things from Earth.
Yeah.
Like, it's so crazy. And the research, like, it supports that.
Yeah.
This research that they're coming out, making sure women are, like, traditionally, even in cultures, like my dad's Native American, so I have Native American. I have very much always leaned more to the Native American side of my roots than I have, say, my mother's Ukrainian side. I just have always felt more belonging to that Native culture. And I was very lucky to have some wonderful mentors that I went to college with who they were from Crow Native, and they really adopted me into their family and showed me what culture was. And it's interesting because in traditional cultures, women actually, went through menopause, or even when they're becoming women, like it was a ceremony.
Yeah.
Like it was celebrated. And women were actually held as the higher, priestesses. I don't want to say priestesses.
No, it's
the higher elders, like the wisdom of these cultures. And it's just fascinating to me because it's like, yeah. Like I feel that, like, in myself, like, I mean, I feel like that's like a whole nother topic, but as people are starting to kind of wake up and start taking care of themselves, I feel like they're starting to realize, like, oh my gosh, like, I've been doing it this way and it's not working.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we have the research that's catching up with the science, like, hey, women should be, lifting weights, eating healthy, making sure you're doing mindful exercises. Moving, like, longevity wise, just statistically, 80% of women develop autoimmune disorders because they never get to deal with the emotional issues that have happened in their lives.
Right.
The Body Keeps Score, the book, it is true. Our bodies hold that. I'm convinced our fascia is the soul, like, holds all those things, which is why you can go get a fascia release and have a trauma experience of letting that off. It's just fascinating. My recent classes that I've been taking is applied kinesiology and muscle testing. So it's very much in this world. It blows my mind how much women hold on to.
Yeah.
And if we're just taught how to let go of these things, because we're always taught, be a good little girl, be quiet, be a good little girl, or you had to be a man, like you had to hustle out those boys. You had, at least that was like my upbringing, and it wasn't necessarily bad. It's just like, I had to have that, like, testosterone driven, like, hustle culture. And it just all doesn't belong to women. Like, that's just not a system that women can sustain and be healthy in. So,
no.
Anyways,
well, I am
a tangent.
No, I think it's all fantastic, and I love seeing that how much you researched and studied, and how this feels like what I'm getting. It's a spiritual calling for you.
Like, yeah. I mean,
or sacred, if spiritual.
Yeah, I just feel like it's just reconnecting with myself.
Yeah.
And that's what I think my message is for women, is reconnect with yourself. Like, you're very powerful. Your gifts are not my gifts, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, in a patriarchal system, it was always women against women, right? That is not where the power is.
No.
Like, when we become sisters and support each other, watch out. Like, it could be a different world that's amazing.
Absolutely.
And I know that's like, but really, if you think about it, like, your gifts are your gifts, but in order to get them, I feel like we were just so disconnected from ourselves. Social media, all the things that distract us, and I think just by connecting with ourselves, that's kind of a beginning, for everybody. I don't know if it's a sacred thing, maybe it is, but I just feel like I've done that work, and it's been the best thing I've ever done. Like, sure, it was scary starting a business, but it felt really good.
Right.
Like, it felt aligned, like, oh, I can do this. I actually make people feel better. In the hospital, I didn't feel that way, not one time.
No.
I hated it. I actually started getting anxiety when I had to go back to work. And I mean, I called in sick a few times because I was like, I cannot be in that environment. And, just learning that I had that recognition, like, okay, wow, this is probably not a good place for me to be. Like, let's start looking for, something else. Just that conversation, you would be surprised at how many nurses are like, oh no, I just can't do anything else. I can't do anything else. And it's like, well, why not? Right. So yeah.
As we get towards the end, can you let us know? Can you give us some tips on what we can do before we call you? How can we help ourselves?
Honestly, just making sure that, like you said before, drinking your water,
Simple.
Honestly, when you're talking about the non-negotiables, okay, that's what I tell everybody, non-negotiables. You get your sleep, 8 hours. I do mean 8 or more hours. Women need the rest. Okay. Drink your water, lift weights. You do not have to do crazy cardio. I'm like literally giving permission to women. You don't have to, because that's what we've been taught. Lift weights. That's all you have to do. Making sure you're taking vitamin D and omega fish oil and a probiotic to help. Like those are like non-negotiables. We live in Montana. Like we got no sun most of the time. Although this has been a really weird winter.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, I'll take it, maybe, if we're not on fire.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like that's what I would say. Just kind of those simple things go a long way, And then obviously our services step in.
Well, and please, after we have gone through that gamut, and we will eventually call you, because I know who I am.
Well, I'll be there tomorrow, so if people want...
Oh, there you go. Hey.
People, I'm going to have injections, which you should come by and grab one. But yeah, we did it last year and it was great. Everybody loved the little boost in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Which is when I'm speaking. So
good for you.
Let's hope. Yeah.
Well, tell us, how can folks learn more, or get a hold of you, or book your services?
You can just go to our website, Wild Roots IV and Wellness. All of our information's on there. We both have social media pages, so Eric Brady or Josie Makin, you can find us on all the socials with Wild Roots, same as our company name. I'm pointing to it, but obviously the camera can't see it. So really simple, just reach out online. We're mobile, so we have an app, so everything is done electronically anyways. So cool. Yeah.
Well, folks, what y'all think of that? I thought that was a pretty solid episode. I wish we had more time today. I do. Listen, let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to follow up with Wild Roots Mobile IV. This was Josie Makin joining me from Billings, Montana. I'm not in Great Falls like I normally am. I'm your host, Lee Larson. That's another episode of Follow the Waiter. And until next time, see ya.
Bye.
Awesome.
Sweet.